Hello students, welcome to today's class in data processing. In our previous class, we looked at introduction to computing. We talked about the history of computing rather, and we looked at the definition of computing. We talked about early counting devices, so we talked about slide rules, we talked about abacus and the likes of them. So in today's topic, or should I say in today's class, we'll be looking at digitization of data. Now, digitization is just like the name implies. It's a presentation of data in binary zeros and one. So it's basically like just like the top, it says converting the word. So you're actually converting the manual or the physical data into a computerized, like using computer to hold your data instead of manual. So for example, I could be writing my notes on pen, and I could actually snap it, scan it, and send it online and save it on my phone. I could actually have it in my phone. Or instead of writing, with the use of phones now, I can actually record a message, maybe my lecturer teaching class or teacher teaching class. Then I could actually use my phone to actually take down some notes. So basically, those are digitalization using computer to hold your information instead of the physical. Now, at the end of today's class, we will able to define digitization of data, classified data, identify and explain the function of the three major components of a computer. Then lastly, we differentiate between analog and digital data formats. Now, let's look at the differences between analog versus digital. Then we'll move to the definition. Sorry. So when you talk about analog computer, we're talking about countable, um, or should I say continuous versus countable data, whereby the analog computer is the physical or the continuous type of data, like a handwritten letter or a smooth sound wave. So basically, this type of data or computer actually physical, number one, and aside physical, they are continuous. So for another example, you could look at is maybe the speedometer in a car. If you check the speedometer, the data there is actually continuous in the sense that it follows the same procedures over and over again. Now for the digital, it's actually discrete, that is broken down into six values, zeros and one. Using an example here in the image, you can see this the wall clock in our home is an example of an analog computer, whereby the hour hand, the minute hand, and the second hand continually go through that cycle over every day, over and over again. The information or the data there doesn't change, it just continues, it just stays there. I don't know if you understand. So after 12 o'clock, it will come back to 1, 2, 3, so like that. While the digital is actually discrete. It's broken, it uses zeros and ones. So basically, I can just say it uses more of computing computer. So for another example, an example for the digital is a digital wristwatch. You can see the difference between the two is that with the digital wristwatch, you can modify your settings, change, you can set alarm, you can change date, you can change time, you can change year, you can put alarm on the likes of them. So basically, that is the two difference between analog and digital computer. With the analog, you can barely do anything. The only thing you can just do is set the time because it's just there. Now, there's another difference again. We have the analog thermometer. If you look at the thermometer now, it's actually analog in nature because you just basically takes reading. When your temperature is high, it goes up. When it is low, it comes down. You can basically do nothing to either adjust or make any correction or anything like that. So those are the example of an analog computer. So our goal here is to actually establish the difference between the analog and the digital computer. Now, having this knowledge now, let's look at what is digitization. Yeah, so the digitization is the process of converting information from an analog format, just like the example we give, like the analog wall clock. Another example is your paper, your handwritten note, maybe you write down. Some of us did assignment, like writing it on a paper. And like I said, you can actually type it, and like also you can snap it. So now the handwritten assignment is actually the analog, while the typed one or the one you snap. And now after writing, if you scan it and save it on your system, it's actually digital because it's no longer received on the system. So it's the process of converting information from an analog form into a digital format that a computer can store and process. So I believe this explanation is understandable. So basically when you convert your information, probably your handwritten information or your speedometer information or the thermometer information, basically when you convert it to a more computer readable format where the computer can store it and save it on the system, where the computer can save it and process it. Is basically digitalization. That's what it's all about. Now, the computer language, everything must become a zero or a one for the computer to understand. So, just like I said, or let me just put it in a simple term. Digitization is just about using computer to store your data regardless. So, basically, just get like the example I gave, converting, having um, this analog information being converted to a digital one where everything is stored with zeros and one. Now let's look at why digitalization is necessary. What is the advantage? Why do you need to digitalize your data or your information? Now, number one, we have speed. Digital files can be transmitted instantly across the globe. For example, bank transfer. So you can see this is example of digitalization where you have the banking application. Now, what is the analog way of doing it? You have to go to the bank yourself, go to the ATM machine and deposit. But with the use of digitalization, that is digital application or mobile banking, you could just use your phone, download the application for the bank, then you just transfer. Then another reason we do digitization is for the storage. Millions of files can be stored in a tiny device, eliminating filling cabinets. So basically, you can just save your documents. Your everything is done on your phone, like at the comfort of your home too. Because just be at home, no need to stress yourself to go to the bank. Now, with the help of mobile banking and some of these applications, yeah, you can just be at the comfort of your home and carry out your transaction, do so many things are going on. I mean, some of us now you can't say the last time, or if you like say some of our parents, like some of them that they don't even know the last time they went to the bank to carry out a transaction. So that's because everything is being done digitally. Another form of digitalization is maybe results now, entering results. So if you remember back then, before now, your report card or report sheet is being written down. You use pen to write the names, the course, the subject, and like that. But with the help of digitization, which is like example using Excel now, you can use Excel, Microsoft Excel to enter the data of your student, the student names, subject, course, and the likes of then save it on your computer and print it. So that is digitization. Then editing and analyzing. Digital data can be easily modified, searched and analyzed by software. So basically, you could actually, if you have a digital application, you can actually, it's easy for you to manipulate it, to edit it. Unlike the analog that you said that you can do little or nothing because there are some that you can actually alter, like your workload, there's no way for you to adjust it, you cannot modify it. But with the your digital watch now, you can actually adjust the time. You can actually set alarm and things like that. So basically, that's just the necessity why we need it makes life easy. Then the relevance. What's the relevance? It makes industry like banking, science, and media efficient. Now let's look at the components of a computer, because basically visualization is all about computing, right? You use your computer to carry out all these things now. Now, mind you, another example is that you know that I can actually scan a document, then use a software to actually extract those texts. For example, now I can snap something, let's say a write-up or maybe your notes now. You snap it as an application that actually extract those texts and just give you out the way it is without you typing it or writing it. It makes life easy. Now, it actually, visualization uses computer, so that's why we're looking at the components of the computer. Now, the computer is the tool for visualization. And we have three pillars. We have the input unit, the central processing unit, which is the brain of the computer, and the output unit. So the flow now, the data flows from the input to the CPU to the output. So basically that is the way the computer works. It takes input, processes it using the CPU, then it gives out based on what is the instruction given. Now let's look at the input. The input devices brings data in. Now what does that mean? It means these are the devices that you use to enter the information to, let's say, the computer. So for example, now your camera now can be an input device because you use to snap. Then another example is your monitor. Sorry, the other example is your keyboard, which is used to type. You need to type your, let's say, a letter, or you type whatever you want to type. Then it gives you the result. Then another one is your microphone, maybe on your phone or the new microphone. Now it gives you speak to it. It actually gives the noise to the speaker. This is speaker brings out. So that is the meaning of input device. It's used to actually give instruction to the computer to enter data into the computer. Then the role as it accepts data and instruction from the user and converts it from analog to digital. So when you snap your phone now, it's actually giving it using your camera now. You have actually given data. I'm sorry, yes, you're actually giving the computer a particular data which can be converted. For example, we have the keyboard, just like I explained. The keyboard converts key presses into digital character code. And a keyboard, this is an example of a keyboard. This is how a keyboard looks like. Then you have the scanner. The keyboard actually has all the letters and the numbers. You can type whatever you want. Just have a computer or just have a smartphone and your keyboard will be there. You also have the scanner. The scanner converts paper images or text into a digital file. And now our text, the analog text, that is, for example, the handwritten assignment, you can just use a scanner to scan it. An example of an application that does that is Scan Scanner, which I mentioned earlier during our assignment. You use Scan Scanner to convert you just snap it, to scan it, then it will save it as on your phone. You can use it um, you can send it, you can save it, you can upload it. Uh, the platform for the submission. Then this is how your scanner looks like in real life without the scan scanner. The scan scanner is an application, but in real life, the physical scanner, this is just one of the example of how it looks like. Then we have the microphone. Just like I said, this is a microphone. You speak to it, it receives the sound, then it converts it to digital form. Even your phone, you can record it. When you're recording someone speaking, it's actually taking input. If you're making a phone call, you're giving it the sound to accept, then it gives it out. Now the carrier link, a secretary relies on its scanner to digitalize every record document. It basically, um, I don't know if this is self-explanatory, but in case there's any question on this, so basically they use the scanner to actually convert their documents to a digital form where it is stored on the computer and you can print it. Then we talk about the output unit. The output devices present the results. So basically what they do is to give out the results that they entered by the input devices. So for example, now your monitor displays whatever is on you that is being entered and whatever you need to see. You have your speaker. Your speaker, when you speak, it actually gives out the sound and the likes of them. So we say output unit is takes process digital information from the CPU and convert it back into a human readable understanding form. So basically that's what it does, the output of your input. Example, you have the monitor. Your monitor displays digital pixels as image, so it displays whatever is being typed by the keyboard or whatever is being entered. Then the printer also. The printer covers digital text to physical paper. I believe we all know what a printer is. Um, a printer is a device used for printing your document. After typing, you can just print it out and have it in the form of a paper. Then we have the speaker. So just like I said, it converts digital audio signals into audible sound waves where you can listen to what the person is saying. Now, the graphics designer, example now we have a graphics designer. Those are they use a high resolution monitor to verify the quality of the digital work. So a graphic designer is one who design birthday cards, he design logos and flyers. So basically they use a monitor to verify the quality of that digitalized work. Now this is a monitor for those of us that have not seen a monitor, it's just more of like a television screen. Then we have the printer, this is how a printer looks like. Then we have the speaker. This is one of the example of how a speaker looks like. Now let's look at the types of computer because we have different computers that we use for different things. Now the type of computer we'll be looking at is according to their size. Now we have the microcomputer, which is the smallest, which is the currently used computer, the personal computer, your laptop, your phone, and the likes of them. They are called microcomputer. The mini computer are bigger than the macrocomputer. Like I said, these computers are just classified based on size. We have the mainframes, which are bigger in size than the mini computer. Then we have the supercomputer, that is the biggest. It's bigger than every other type of computer, both the mainframe, mini, and the micro. So, like I said, the classification is based on size, and and hopefully the processor speed actually varies too. The supercomputer is more faster than the mainframe computer, and the mainframe is faster than the mini computer, and the mini computer is faster than the microcomputer. So basically, that's what they are. Now this is an image of how it looks like. The types of computers we have: the microcomputer in size is bigger, though faster, and then than the sorry, the mini. We have the microcomputer, which is the type of computer we use. The mini computer. We have personal computer is part of the microcomputer. We have the super. You can see the size. You can take up the whole house. Then we have the laptop, the tablet, and the likes of them. And basically, those are just microcomputers that we could use. Now, let's move to the next. So, in conclusion, we say the digitization is the conversion to zeros and one. And as we all know, zeros and one is binary, which is computer. Only computer understands zeros and one. The input unit is responsible for this conversion. The scale of the computer matches the professional task. So basically, just an explanation of digitization is you're converting your input, or should I say, okay, you're converting your data into a computer representation format where your computer actually represented to represent your data. And with that said, we've actually come to the end of today's class. Please, if there's any question, any confusion in any part that we've talked about, just let me know on the group chat. You can send down your question. I'll try to respond to them one after the other. So we have our assignment here. I will want all of us, each and every one of us, to attempt it. Now the assignment is list three professional into devices and how they enable digitalization in our career. Basically, we look at some profession and how they use these input devices to enable digitization, how it has helped them in different professions. So basically, that will be all for the assignment. And please, like I said, let's try to attempt it and try to submit before the end, before next class. The link for the submission is always provided on the group platform. You can click on it and if you have any confusion, reach out to me. I will guide us. See you in the next class.